Hello and welcome to a quick tutorial. This will be on drawing pixel art firearms and designing them. So let's begin. So the first thing I want to do is draw a design out of basic shapes. Also look up a reference. So I'm drawing a few squares to make up. This will be really useful because, well, you could either draw it freehand, which is quite difficult, or just draw some squares. So I draw a few more squares, and then I'm going to erase the lines inside these squares to make them join together. So, also later on, to make it not look like it's just made up of squares, I do round the corners. I'm giving it all one colour, which I would not advise. I'd advise having some squares with different colours, it helps, but I've just made the whole thing one colour. And now that I've erased some of the lines, making it not look like it's all made of squares, let's shade it. So I'm getting my darker shade. My sun is in the top right, so on the bottom left, I add all my darker shades, just with the line tool. You could also, yet again, draw them freehand if you've got a more complicated shape. Well, my shape's just squares, so I don't need to do this. And now I add the highlights on the top or the sides. It's looking pretty neat now, but it kind of looks like it's made of plastic. Anyway, this is good for now. Now what I'm going to do is erase pixels from the corners. So I'm just rounding off the corners, really simple. Erase some pixels there, pick up the colour of my outline, and then draw it back on. I'll do it down here as well, because the handle's soft on one side, so I don't want it to have rectangular sharp corner, because that'd be unrealistic. Yep, this is going quite well. I try erasing the corner here, but that erased corner doesn't really look too good, so I keep it sharp. Now, the next thing I'm thinking about is what my design would actually do in reality. So, my design is a nuclear pistol, so I'm thinking about have this green kind of nuclear, I don't know, canister. So I'm drawing that now. I'm drawing two ends, bits, or valves, whatever you want to call them, to keep the liquid from going out. I'm making them a lighter colour, because I don't want everything to look like it's made of the same thing. And I'm adding some kind of, like, lines in it, just to give it texture, and to make it look round. So now on the inside, I'm filling it with green and just picking what colours I want. So yeah. And as it's all gooey, I try to not use the line tool and do a bit freehand. Now let me get my lighter colour and just do a few freehand lumps. Now what's good to think about, say for example, I have this nuclear canister. It has to be used somehow, and there has to be something connecting it to it. So why not draw a pipe, for example? Or just think along those lines of how it would work in reality. And also warning signs and say those red and black stripes also work really well. So I'm adding a warning sign with the yellow and black, and I'm going to add a red and black striped strip. These are actually looking really effective, and they're giving it more texture from being just these plain shapes. So I'm adding a pipe connecting it, using colour I've not used and using a dark blue. I think that's a bit too dark, so I've lightened it up. And I'm just making it darker around the inside. I'm not going to add a highlight on that. And yeah. Now what I'm going to do is what am I thinking? Black and yellow diagonal stripes. So let's draw those. So I start by filling it in with yellow, then drawing the black over the top. Alternatively, you could fill it in with black and draw the yellow over the top. I just find it easier doing it this way. So I'm drawing two lines for the black strips, and that's good, but looks a bit weird, so I'm adding some shading, just some darker shades below the black strips. And also I think this is way too bold, so I'm going to replace this with my darkest colour. And I'm drawing lines in the bottom and top to make sure if I fill it, it doesn't bleed onto my outlines. That's looking neat. So, I've been speaking a lot. The next thing I'm going to draw is some boxes and some grills, to make it look less flat, so I can add a box that sticks out, which actually really helps. Or say for the handle, I'm adding a few lines to show that it's got grips on it. And here I'm adding a gap here for something connecting to the pipe. I'm not so keen on it, so I don't want it to stick out. I'm thinking of leaving it this colour. And also the thing that goes really well with the colour scheme I'm using, and with the fact that it's nuclear, is just a lot of thin green lines or lights. So I'm going to add these in now. And sorry if it stops every now and then, that's when I'm looking up a reference. So anyway, I add a green line here. I'm thinking of making the whole thing green, yet that didn't work too well, so I guess we'll just see how it works. Yeah, it looks a bit weird with the whole thing green. I'm not too sure, not looking at it again, to be honest. But yeah, I'm making this a bit lighter, which also helps varying the colours. Now, the last thing I've got to do to make it actually work is, of course, add a trigger and something for your finger to go down. So let's do this. So as you can see for the curve, I'm drawing out 4 pixels, then 3, then 2, then 1, and then 2 going the other way, and so on. This helps me to draw an even curve. And then I just draw around the outside of it and make it 1 pixel thicker. And after this, what I need to do is then draw the trigger. I decided to just draw freehand and not use a method for drawing curves. Doesn't look too good. And yeah, that is, I think, my final design.